Welcome to Something to Talk About from the Bainbridge Island Senior Community Center. Today we're going to be talking about Earth Month on Bainbridge Island, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. I want to first acknowledge that we are meeting on the ancestral homeland of the people of the clear salt water, the Suquamish people, who have plied these waters and lived on these lands against the Salish Sea since time immemorial. We are grateful for their stewardship, and we are learning from them. Also, these programs are sponsored by Fieldstone Communities of Bainbridge Island, which offers assisted and independent living along with memory care on Rolling Bay. They have day stay and respite programs. If you'd like to take a tour or learn more, call them 206-594-1010 or check out their website, fieldstonecommunities.com. And I don't know exactly who wants to get us started here, but there is a very long list of activities, many of them involving obviously sustainable Bainbridge and also the parks, with a big event coming up later in the month called Expo. And so let's maybe, Diane, would you be willing to start us off? And then we'll talk to Jeanette, and then we'll talk with Stephanie.
Well, yes, as you mentioned, Reed, there is Sustainable Bainbridge has an Earth Month page where we've listed all the activities, the outdoor activities, speech talks, all related to the environment. I mean, just go there and you'll find fascinating things that you can do this month. And so I don't know, I'd like to turn it over to Stephanie because one of the biggest activities is going to be that Earth Day Expo where lots of community organizations will be having booths with children-oriented activities, right, Stephanie?
Yeah, that's right. So I have a few different things to share with the group, but the biggest one is our Earth Expo on Saturday, April 27th. It'll be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Battle Point Park, kind of in that northwest corner nearest the duck pond. So you'll be invited to park elsewhere and then stroll on over on our paved paths. And we'll have dozens of booths hosted by all of our various like-minded community organizations, as well as some of the businesses in the area that are doing wonderful things aiming towards sustainability and conservation work. We will have our mobile stage over there with some live music. We'll have a face painter, we'll have food vendors, we'll have some tents and picnic tables up so that folks can really make a day of it and enjoy their time learning all about what they can be doing for the good of the earth right now and celebrating all things green with us as a community. In addition to that, we also have a variety of work parties that we offer throughout the month of April. We actually offer them all year long, but in April, we specifically focus on these Earth Month activities. And so these ones are run by our natural resources team, and these are an opportunity for folks who want to really delve in physically to the earth. And so they can get their hands dirty, they can use our tools and our gloves. We provide everything they need, but they're welcome to come. It's for all ages, all activity levels. Our crews that put those on are really incredible at making sure that there's something for everybody to be able to do.
If you get the idea that you want to do this, participate in a work party, should you register in advance? Should you just show up that day?
Yeah, so you can do it either way. So we do recommend registering in advance, and these are all on that page that Diane mentioned. So there's a link to register in those. Pre-registering, what that does is it just takes away the hassle of filling out the release form in the moment when you arrive. It just lets you arrive, say, hey, I'm here. Here's my name. They check you off and give you what you need and set you up and get you going. And so we do recommend it, but certainly if you don't get to that, or if all of a sudden you're like, hey, you know what, I'm free, I've got an hour, I can pitch in, then you're welcome to pop on by and you can take care of that in just a couple of minutes. And our team will help you out with all of that. So I'll mention that those are always 10 a.m. to noon. We have one at Red Pine Park on April 9th. That's a Tuesday. We have one on Saturday, April 13th with a conservation focus over at Battle Point Park. And then we have one on April 18th at Moritani Preserve, Thursday. And then we have another one on Saturday, April 20th at Battle Point Park focused on trails. So, and then of course, our last one will be at Earth Expo itself on the 27th. So we'll have an opportunity for folks who might want to help spread some mulch or do some different things there as well. And again, recommend pre-registered so that you just get the boring stuff taken out of the way, but certainly can take care of it on site as well.
And good to bring gloves if you're going to be helping out.
If you have a preference on gloves, absolutely. But we do also have quite a few extra that we'll offer to you if you need them.
Okay, and I want to circle back, but I know that Jeanette Franks is probably doing some things with Weed Warriors this month as well. Is that right, Jeanette?
Yes, thank you so much, Reed. And Stephanie, I have to say, parks just over the past couple of years with Morgan Hoke and so many other people have been doing a wonderful job of restoring forests, and it's so important. We also Weed Warriors will have an information table at the event on April 27th. And I personally won't be there. I will be out of the country, but I do have some really good volunteers lined up with plant demonstration materials, actual native and invasive plants, as well as some new and old instructional educational materials. And I've even got Wendy Westerland, who's on the Kitsap County Weed Board. She's really good. So we'll have excellent ID volunteers there to help people understand more about weeds, what's good and what's bad and why, which because Parks has been doing such a wonderful job, and thank you again, we have been working for the past year at Strawberry Plant Park on Eagle Harbor, because that's a City of Bainbridge Island park that they never budgeted any maintenance for. They did this beautiful restoration years ago, and then they didn't kind of do maintenance. And so the Scotch broom, the Himalayan blackberries, Daphne L'Oreali, ivy, all the bad guys just moved in and started smothering all the native plants. So we have been meeting there monthly, and it is at 340 Weaver Northwest, which intersects with Madison. So you go all the way to the end of Weaver and you can park there. There's another intersecting.
Wyatt Way, you mean, right? Intersects with Wyatt Way. Intersects with Wyatt Way, not Madison.
Yeah, it intersects. Oh, okay. Yeah, it intersects. Thank you, Diane. Yeah. Well, and Weaver intersects with a couple other streets too. And so we will be there this Sunday, not this coming Sunday, but April 14th. Let me make sure. Yeah, April 14th, 1 to 3 at Strawberry Plant Park, which is not Strawberry Hill Park. People do get confused because we have two parks with strawberry in the name. And we
used to have a lot more things with strawberry in the name.
It's
so
true.
That's
it's
why.
True. But this one doesn't even really have a sign. So you kind of do have to know it's there. It's just a small, wonderful park with a little ravine and a seasonal stream, and it goes right into Eagle Harbor. And it's a great place to work because you can be in the sun or the shade. Plenty of blackberries to go around, and we've got good tools and extra gloves and all of those. And it's a really nice group of people. I host international students every year from the University of Washington. And this year I have a student from Taiwan, and he's been bringing his friends. There's nothing like strong, young, 20-somethings working in the woods. They've been fabulous. So that's really fun, and fun to work with them as well. So that will be April 14th. And the other thing I want to emphasize, because I don't see anybody from the Land Trust. Is anybody here from the Land Trust? Okay.
No, Stephanie was hoping to get somebody, but it was a last minute deal. So go right ahead, Jeanette.
Okay, because this is really cool. The Land Trust has been doing this every year. Free weed disposal days at the dump. So you can bring a truckload, and believe me, people do, of invasive weeds. They have to be invasive weeds, and they even list like blackberry, Scotch broom, ivy, holly, laurel, tansy, ragwort. You can't just bring your lawn clippings or your tree debris or anything like that. That has to be bona fide invasive plants. And if you don't know, just shoot them an email. And that will be on April 21st and 28th from 10 to 4, which are the same hours as the Vincent Road Transfer Station. And it's just a wonderful opportunity because frankly, it's expensive to drop off weeds. And the land trust pays for this. So this is a really, really good deal. So again, that's the 21st and the 28th. Bring your weeds to the dump.
So
So
a great idea would be to go to the Weed Warrior Restoration at Strawberry Park, Strawberry Plant Park, and then learn about the stuff, go home, collect those things, and then take them to the dump.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes. Great.
Jeanette,
Are there
can you
any-
speak to, are people able, if they have a yard waste curbside service, are they able to put those in their yard waste curbside service?
invasive species?
Yeah.
Yes, but that's a very good question, Diane. We do not recommend putting holly berries in the clean green because we're not really sure, and they're not really sure, if the giant compost pile in the sky is hot enough to kill holly seeds. I've heard yes and no, but holly seeds are pretty obvious, red, and you put them in the trash and they just go in the landfill and hopefully they die there. But it is a good question. Plus, you don't want to dump much stuff like that in Eagle Harbor. I've sometimes seen green waste floating around in the harbor and that can foul propellers and stuff like that. So that's not a good idea. There are some other methods like dry composting under a tarp or like around a cedar tree where it's dry. There are some other ways to get rid of things like piles of ivy. You can put it up on logs and boards up off the ground. It often doesn't resprout if you just get in a big pile and stomp it down and scream death to ivy.
Okay, thanks. Hey, Reed, I did think of a couple things so if you want to come back to me at some point, I have some things to say.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, well, the big thing that's happening this month in terms of recycling is styrofoam recycling. So Bainbridge Island Zero Waste does not team up anymore with Bay Hand Feed because we've lost our way to backhaul styrofoam down to Kent, Washington. So we've relied on crossing our fingers that Kitsap Solid Waste has a collection. So they are doing one collection this year, and it will be on April 27th, which is unfortunately the same day as the Earth Day Expo. So I would have gone and helped there if I could have, but we're tabling also with next to Jeanette at Earth Day Expo. So my advice is to, find maybe in your neighborhood, try to pass the word along and have one or two people deputized in your neighborhood to take down to the Kitsap County Fairgrounds a load of styrofoam and just make sure it's clean. It doesn't have tape or stickers on it, and that it's the snappable kind, not the bendy kind, but the kind that has those little beads that get all over the place. So that's the big recycling event happening in April, and that's on the Earth Month calendar. Another thing is that this entire month, just as in September, we promote a day of Bainbridge Island beach cleanup. In April, we promote a whole month of litter pickup from roadsides and lots, just to get the island spruced up. And Zero Waste has grabbers that people can borrow, and we sort of encourage groups to do this. We have enough grabbers. If on one day a group of say like 25 people wanted to go out picking trash, they could. And at Bainbridge Disposal, their office at Coppertop, there is a container with white Kitsap County bags that you can put the trash into. And if you set that bag then next to your regular trash pickup, Bainbridge Disposal will take it for free, but it has to just contain the litter you've picked up around the island. So that's a big thing throughout the month. And the third thing I have to say is that Refashion Bainbridge, which has recently become its own program of Sustainable Bainbridge, has a lot of repair activities set up for this month. So there's a workshop for learning how to darn socks, one for how to visibly mend holes in clothing, and a third one, which happens in May, is making pockets in your clothes to make them more useful. So just ways to extend the life of your clothing or make it more utilitarian. Thank
You
you.
mentioned the pockets, and you were talking to me before we got started about how there's going to be a discussion of that, I guess.
Yeah,
A
there's
speaker.
a woman who has written a book about the history of pockets, because women didn't used to have pockets because it wasn't deemed that they needed them. They didn't have important things to carry like men did. So clothing has gradually gotten pockets, and if you want to retrofit any of your clothing that does not currently have pockets, well, there's that workshop I talked about. But on April 14th, there's a talk by sorry, her name is
Her name is Diane
Johnston.
Johnston.
Right. And she's with the Speakers Bureau of Humanities Washington, and she will be talking about the history of buckets.
She'll be at Barn,
Yep.
and you
Thank
can
you.
sign up in advance. Speaking of speakers, Stephanie, can you jump in here and talk a little bit about a speaker that's coming up later in April?
Yeah, so the Bainbridge Island Parks and Trails Foundation wasn't able to send a staff member to join us today, but they asked me to kind of represent them a little bit. So we are separate. I know that's always an interesting thing for the community, but they operate independently of us, but we very much support one another. And so wanted to share with everyone that we have on Thursday, April 25th at 7 p.m. a speaker, Dr. Howard Frumkin from the UW, is going to come and speak on the latest research the latest research that talks about how there is a very, very strong, compelling link between mental health and wellness and being active in nature. So speaking about just getting families and enjoying time on the parks or in the parks on the trails. And as we especially know with teenagers right now, there's a really high prevalence of mental health needs. And so this is kind of trying to address some of that and share with families some of the hopeful ways that they can address that with their family, with their children. So it is a free event. They do encourage registration. It's in partnership with the BHS Theater. But you can find more about it on the Sustainable Bainbridge Earth Month page as well.
Great, and that Earth Month page is in the links on this call, and also if you're watching this later on YouTube, it's in the description, so you can just go right down there. There are a lot of other things that we are not don't have representatives here for. I know there are a number of events at Islandwood, opportunities to go for walks at Islandwood, and I think that you might want to check out those dates and times and get a chance to look at some of the unique ecosystems that are there at Islandwood. And I'm going to go back to Jeanette because she's got her hand raised, but you'll need to unmute, Jeanette.
Thank you, Reed. I didn't realize Island wouldn't be here, but I want you all to know that on Sunday, April 7th, is open day on the trails. So you can just go to the Islandwood website, and it's not mandatory, but you can register in advance. That just kind of gets you in the door and out into the trails faster. And I and some other naturalists are going to have an information tent and table with all sorts of cool stuff, salamanders, and I think it'll be really fun. So that's Sunday, April 7th. And I think it starts from 1 to 4, but I think we'll be starting at noon. Like if you want it, we always wind up checking people in early. So Islandwood is having that event. So that'll be fun. And I wanted to thank Diane for maintaining our website. Thank you, Reed, for mentioning the website is in the chat box, and it will be on the YouTube. But Diane, thank you, thank you, thank you. All the millions of things you're doing, it's just amazing. It's mind-boggling. So I just wanted to say thank you, and then I'll bug out a little bit. Thank you.
And I just wanted to highlight from Islandwood, since they're not here, there's a speaker, Geology Rocks, on the 14th. I guess he's a really popular, he's been there before and it sold out before. So if you want to hear a really enthusiastic speaker, that's a good one to go to, Geology Rocks.
Okay, and then I see that there are some activities, suggested activities that anybody can do at any time, like Earth Month Bingo. Just you can go on the website and learn a little bit.
Yeah, we'll be at Earth Day Expo. We'll have some copies of that Earth Month Bingo on some cardstock. And the backside is reused paper, so we're being ecological there. And yeah, they're just really fun activities to do at home with your family. Like it might be like just remember to turn off the lights or turn off the water while you're brushing your teeth. There's just simple activities like that that you would probably do every day or that are incorporated into your routine, and maybe you haven't thought about one of those things, and you can do that and then stamp your bingo boxes.
Or I remind you, oh, right, I
Mhm.
get to mark a box for that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a very ambitious Earth Month schedule. I'm impressed and happy to be able to participate, take advantage of those. Anything, either Stephanie, that you want to add, or are we good? I don't know. Christine, you have something you want to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, as everyone was saying, to the whole team and the community. We've had so many, and all the community partners are listed on our webpage, and it's a huge group. It's so impressive, and it really does take, as I said to someone else, kind of takes the village, the community to make this possible. It's grown so much over the years, and just if everybody, if you're even slightly interested, don't think it's just about pulling weeds or really active things, or you can go look for books at the library or the bookstore, and the lectures, their birding events at Islandwood. I heard you ask about the Islandwood, and thanks for everyone who shared all the different events happening. I had a list of things that I wanted to make sure to cover, and everyone already got them all, so that's awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
And remember, it's all year long, as Diane said, you can try and reduce food waste. That's a huge one, and litter pickups and reporting invasive species. But I'm just so excited about getting the word out more about Arbor Day and Earth Day, and making a whole month and year of it, really trying to teach and inspire people and get everyone involved. So
Well,
thank you. Thanks,
we
Reed.
really appreciate all the hard work that you do to pull this together. I know it's a real passion and it shows.
Thank you.
Diane?
I just wanted to ask Stephanie, at Earth Day Expo, because from April 26th through the 29th, there's something called the City Nature Challenge. It's a collaboration between Land Trust and Islandwood, and it's about taking photos of as many different, wildlife creatures, bugs, whatever that you can. Will that be explained at a booth at Earth Day Expo?
I believe so, but I have to do a little more digging into it myself. I'm still getting some information on what all that is and who's kind of wanting to talk most about it right now. So, but I believe so. I think somebody is going to be mentioning that. We'll find a way to incorporate that for sure. The other thing I wanted to mention too is for those that really love to read, the Bainbridge location of the Kitsap Regional Library coordinated with some of our board commissioners over here and put together an Earth Month reading list. So if you are interested in that, they have some bookmarks available over at the library, but we also have just a few up at the front desk at the Aquatic Center, as well as at the Recreation Center. So again, for those who love to read, it's a fun list of books that are all focused on the environment, conservation, and just Earth Month activity as well.
Thank you very much. Looking at that City Nature Challenge off of the website that's in the chat or down below, it involves using the iNaturalist app first through the 26th through the 29th. You take and upload pictures, and then you can, through the April 30th to May 5th, upload observations and identify them. So you can learn more. There's a link in the page about how you can learn more about that challenge, and keep your ear to the ground to find out what's coming up. Really appreciate you guys taking the time and sharing with our audience what's up, and we'll be Earth Monthing in April and every month thereafter. Thanks for
Thank
your
you, Reed, for having
participation.
us. Thank you.
Thank you.